Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, I'm feeling well enough to get this video out. Now, I was on vacation the day this sale went live. The J4 Heatwave sale went live, so I wasn't streaming, but I did tune into Legacy's stream, and I had fun. I had fun watching Legacy, but it was very clear that a variety and a lot of the vocal community was very upset with the sale, and I gotta say, I understand why, and I provided my own feedback to Kabam. I'm like, hey, I think you guys are missing some stuff here, all right? And so we're going to break this video down into two sections. One is the advice to Kabam, my thoughts on it, why I think this is a miss, what I hope Kabam would do, because I constantly am saying, like, my biggest issue is the player experience. Like, the game itself is really, really fun, but there's all this extra stuff and all the sales and all this stuff that, like, really makes it bumpy, upsetting, and frustrating, and it doesn't need to be that way. And then the second part of this is going to be, like, my advice. Like, how did I come out of this being like, for me, as a very, very narrow point of view individual, like, this kind of hit my expectations. My prediction video, I haven't gone through it word for word, but the sale literally lined up with it, like, extremely well, including even on the unit side of it all. In fact, if anything, the sale ended up being better in a way, depending on how you want to look at it, because I didn't think Human Torch should be available for units. And just to be clear, I'm not going to do the thing where I'm like, well, I said I would only rank up Human Torch if he was available to everyone, and therefore he was. No, I'm not doing that. That obviously wasn't the spirit of what I'm doing. I do have Human Torch. I had to claim him from the web store track in order to progress in the game. And I've got him. He's going to remain unranked, unleveled, everything, unused until Kabam has truly brought him to everyone via some sort of crystal, or they've made the announcement. They've let us know, here's when he's coming. Okay, just as a quick aside. Now, as far as the sale is concerned, and viewer, like, please write in the comments your thoughts. Just try not to get too nasty on it, right? We're hoping Kabam looks at this, reads this, watches this, and takes a look and sees, so they can try to improve. Because I think all of us, the vast majority of us, want this game to do well, right? That's why we're passionate. We enjoy it. We want it to keep going on because we enjoy playing it. And that's the point of videos like this. It's for you to feel heard and for us to give our feedback in hopes that the game continues to do well, not to destroy it. So my thoughts on the sales and the advice to Kabam is, Kabam, I pride myself on being forthright. It sometimes gets me into trouble, but I'm forthright. If I think you're coming across as really desperate, in literally 3 months, technically, if I wanted to be a stickler, I'd say in 2 months, you have sold Red Guardian, Dark Phoenix, and Human Torch. And that's not including Future MN, Nick Fury, and other amazing champions who are escaping my mind. I'm still not 100%. I'm not saying that you are desperate. I've been to your offices. I've been to the summits. I've been to the content creator meetups and those sorts of things. And I've gotten to see literally how many people work there. And I will say that before I'd done those tours and walked through the offices and gone into various meeting rooms, I would have guessed probably about 1/10 of the amount of people that I saw in those offices. And I'm aware there's a lot of people who work from home and work remotely too. And so I want to be clear. I'm not saying that I know you are desperate. I don't know that. In fact, I think you probably are not desperate. But to the players, when you have that many sales, that consecutively, and you sell that many powerful champions who we've often been told from you that they are too powerful to exist. And I realize this too, is that you, Kabam, are probably saying, like, dude, we said they were too powerful to exist, and we met at that time in the game, and we've progressed the game. And I, as a YouTuber who pays a lot of attention to the game and the meta of the game, have said, like, I really love that Kabam's having the confidence in the game. They've progressed it, it's grown, and the game can handle these champions now. So I get all of that, but what this is about is how you are coming across to the players. And when you sell this many champions for this much money, and so few of the players are able to take advantage of it, because let's be honest, this isn't just about your massive whales versus free to play. There is a massive chasm that I would imagine is a very large player base that's somewhere between spending $1 a month on the game and spending $1,200 a month on the game. And that's a really healthy space. And if you're not able to spend $1,200 a month in the game and you are just completely locked out of what has now become 3 months in a row. There's the Brazilian Wonder Woman, everyone. If you are a player like that and you've now just been locked out of Red Guardian, you've been locked out of Dark Phoenix, you've been locked out of Human Torch, you're literally wondering, is next month Doctor Doom? And that's not a good feeling. That's not a good feeling. And you want your players being able to enjoy the game, to log in daily, right? Because here's the thing, Kabam, is, your massive whales out there that are able to just drop $1,200 like it's no big deal. That's great. And the game does need them. And I'm happy that they exist. But they're going to stop doing that if there's not a bunch of other people to play the game with them, right? People don't go to the playground to play by themselves. And if all the players get so frustrated, so upset, feel like this game is not for them, then they're going to go away. And that's really bad for the game. And I'm telling you, by selling this many things, this strong of things for these high of dollar costs, you're coming across as desperate when I don't think you mean to be, and I don't think you actually are. To keep in mind. And the last thing I will mention is I would also kind of think about the game that you're making and how that plays into your sales. And what I mean by that is you already have Thai Tier War, where one of the reasons I know I didn't enjoy it anymore and left it, and I've heard this complaint from a lot of people, is like champions are blacklisted. I just finally pulled Serpent. Okay, I just finally pulled Serpent, or I went out and I spent some money and I got him from the sale, and I spent some money and I ranked him up, and he's blacklisted. I can't use him. And now you're bringing that same concept to Battlegrounds. Maybe you'll have a better way of implementing it. You didn't tell us exactly how you're going to implement it. And I understand that it might create a more diverse, fun game, and it might create a better Battlegrounds experience. However, in a game where you're selling champions and you're selling rank up materials, either for cash or for units that people have worked really hard to get with their time, when you want us to spend that money or those units on a champion, and then we can't use them, that doesn't feel good. And it doesn't make us want to buy or spend. In fact, it makes us want to not buy and not spend, because we essentially have to use what you've told us. And I do think that's one of the reasons why the Wheel of Fate quest has not been received as well as you would have hoped. And I've just myself finished it. I'll be getting out the openings and things like that on it, is because I just did it. And I started to really realize how often the champion I was using was a champion I had purchased in an event. And so if you didn't do that, you just literally had to suffer through the quest. And sometimes I was using Medusa on thinking every single path. And I thought about it, I was like, she's not even in a basic crystal. Like you can't get her. And so no wonder there's a large part of the community that's like, dude, not only are the rewards like good now, but probably not that great in like 2 or 3 or 4 months, but I may never even get the champions that I need to complete this quest. You expect me to like this? And so I would really just try to keep that in mind, is when you're going through these and creating these quests and these modes, and I know you want us to have a good time with them, is truly look down and think like, hey, okay, maybe there's this option that people could buy it's like an A+ option, but make sure your low spenders, that they at least have an A option. And maybe you did, and maybe over time we'll discover that. But then that gets back to the rewards, where it's like, if it's going to take us 6 months to figure that out, make sure those rewards are still good in 6 months. All right, now let's get to the section on my advice to you guys, and like, how did I end up actually, quote unquote, enjoying this, right? And when I say that, I don't mean me, the YouTuber. Me, the YouTuber, wants you, the viewers, and the players to have fun. So everything I just said, if you just came to be like, hey, what'd you think of the event? I'd be like, well, I think it sucked, because most people seemed really upset. And because most of the sales items, the high value items, were locked at the end of the track, or they were locked at the tier 4 or 5 or 8 of the web store. And so someone who came in was like, I got $50, man. And let's be honest, $50 is a lot of money. I don't care. It is. Okay. And they're like, I'm going to spend $50. And they're like, oh, I can buy some 7-star shards. Cool. cool. I bought a 7-star crystal. Oh, I got Green Goblin. No wonder they're pissed off. Okay. And so Kabam, I guess we're back on the advice of Kabam is, can you take some of the high value stuff, maybe even just get rid of the tracker, right? And I know I supplied that advice in the CCP is like, just get rid of the tracker, the web store tracker, and just put all of that into the offers and sprinkle some of it into the lower, like into the Peter Parker's wallet or whatever the hell it's called. Okay. Like, let them have some fun, please. Like, honestly, you can see what I bought in the store. That's what's left from the Valiant store. Okay. And like, I don't need all that. I mean, I had fun. I'm going to get to make videos. I'm a YouTuber. I had a great time and I'm going to have a good time streaming and doing videos on it. But like, if somehow it needs to come from me, please give it to the player, like everyone else. I want everyone having fun. So the advice to players, okay, is, and why was I able to do this? Is one is, you know, hopefully you saw my predictions and advice video for this event. My predictions, not necessarily word for word, were right, but I predicted this many rank 4s. I predicted where they'd be in the Odins. I predicted where they'd be in the unit store. And so as a result, this literally hit my expectations. And so what I would do is do everything you can to not set expectations very high. And I know that's really kind of an annoying thing. I don't mean to annoy you, but it's like the higher we set these, the more likely they are to not be hit. And then when we get to this, they are massively disappointing. Another thing is I was on vacation. I was like, I want to have fun with my family. I just happened to be available for like 20 minutes and I watched Lag stream. So I didn't even buy the offers. In fact, I didn't buy them, I think, till Sunday night when I think when I did my opener. Maybe it was Monday morning. And that gave me a lot of time to really process through. And there were moments where I was like, I don't think I'm going to buy them. I'm like, no, remember, I'm going to make all these videos. And I started planning out my month. And so I think taking a beat, and I think Simula often recommends that. And you might even see me stop buying stuff day one live stream, because I do also play the game and I was significantly happier that way. The other thing is save units. I didn't spend $1,200, not even close to it, because I had 12,000 units saved up, right? From just literally playing the game. And I buy this card. Let me try to find it here. There it is. This card goes on sale, I think once a month. It's $4.99, which still, you know, money is money. I don't care. Money is money. And while that might not be very much to some people, it's a lot to others. And so I'm not saying, hey, go buy this. I never recommend spending on the game. But if this is important to you and you've got $4.99, this is a great thing. I buy it every single month. It comes in and I get units. I get units from just literally playing the game. I almost never have time to do arena, but I still had 12,000 units, probably from the XP and stuff like that too, which meant that and I'll say it, I don't normally say stuff like this on theirs. I spent $800 on this sale. And I got 6 rank 4s. I got a ton of awakening gems. I got all those Titan crystals you guys saw me open. And here's the other thing is, every time there was any sort of choice, every single time, I chose the tier 7 basic. And I told you guys that in my advice video, and I'm going to continue saying that. I say it every time I get asked this question or it's relevant, is always choose the guaranteed rank up resource, because it's going to give you for sure value. The crystal, sure, it may land on Hercules. It also may land on Red Goblin, okay? And it really sucks when it lands on the non-Hercules and you realize not only did you not get Hercules, you got the crappy champion, but also you could have had a rank 4 champion, or at least a third of a rank 4 champion. So it's exponentially worse. Don't do that to yourself. This game, honestly, is kind of, it's one of the tenets of this game. And that's how I had the units too, is, I mean this, you guys saw it. I went out and I was like, I'm going to do an opening for Nico. I haven't done it forever. I do not buy these crystals. I do not buy them. If you have the willpower to stop, one, more power to you, but 99.9% of people out there do not have that willpower. I do not have that willpower. I do not buy them. And here's the thing, even if you have that willpower, there's still 300 units. That's a lot. Over the course of a year, that's 33,600 units. Math isn't my forte, but there you go. So don't do that. Hold your units, and then that way when the sale comes, you got some extra units on hand, okay? The other thing is, nothing is necessary. Now, I've been saying this for a really long time, and I still, for the most part, mean it, that No champion is necessary. However, you just heard my thoughts on the Wheel of Fate, and this does play into that a little bit. And I think part of why I didn't like that is that's the most I've ever felt like some of these champions do actually feel necessary, and they do feel like you had to spend money on them. And the rewards are such that if you don't have them now, I don't think getting these champions in 5 or 6 months is gonna make the rewards won't be worth it. So I'm starting to kind of wonder on that, but as of now, I still feel strongly that no champion is necessary. No sale is necessary. And if Kabam is going to put out sales every single month, I'm not going to just automatically buy the store anymore, even though I, as a YouTuber, can make more money than I spent, significantly more money than I spend on those sales. That doesn't mean I have to go and buy them all the time. You know, with this, the new reunion event with like Anti-Venom and Cole and all that stuff, honestly, none of those champions on their own or characters excite me very much. My roster is pretty deep. I'm going to evaluate it on its own, and that's what I'm just going to do from now on. I'm no longer just going to automatically buy out the store. I'm going to be like, okay, do I actually want these things? Does it look like fun? And I will add on to, do I think my viewers want to see this? Okay. And so my advice to you is like, don't do that anymore. I think let's just accept that Kabam is going to have these huge sales every single month. And that means there's going to be stuff we're just not going to get. The final part that really ties it all together is, and you can see here, I created my own alliance upside. It is going exceptionally well. We're having a lot of fun. We started literally at ground zero. It is a bunch of people, and you can see it, right? Active in-game players prioritizing life over MCoC. But we are active in-game players. And with Kabam introducing Radiant and just being like, here's a ton of Radiant in Raids, here's a ton of Radiant in AQ, here's some more in War, right? It's in Battlegrounds too. It hit a lot of us because we are in-game players, very active, log in multiple times a day, love the game, and like there are some insanely high-skilled players here, YouTubers that you know and love, and we're like, no, we're not going to do map 8 AQ. We don't like having to log in to do AQ. We don't want to do it. We're going to get our war rating. We're going to tune our war rating up. It just takes a long time to do that, even though we win every war by a significant amount. We think we'll land somewhere in platinum, but we're not going to go and start planning out wars and ruining weekends for people so that we can have these really detailed plans. We're not going to do it. People have asked about ranking up for defense, and they keep consistently saying, like, rank up here and enjoy. We'll get a good defense together. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll get a good defense together. Because we have some, I think we have some free-to-play players in there too. You just need to be in-game. You can see our minimum is 3 rank 4 7 stars. We have at least 2, I believe, free-to-play players, and we have quite a few low spend. Does not matter. You don't need to be a whale. You do not need to be a whale. And I tell people, like, don't spend. You don't want to spend, please don't spend. That's the last thing I want. And so we're just going to keep playing the way we're going to play. Now, I'm really lucky. I have a YouTube channel that, like, when I invest my time into it, does exceptionally well. And a lot of you enjoy, and I have fun with you. And so I'm really lucky that I can just be like, hey, I need a guy. And someone's like, oh, I want to play. And whatever. And so I'm not trying to make it sound like it's super simple, but I do think it's incredibly important in enjoying this game is find people who are playing the game the way you are playing the game. If you're around a bunch of whales and you're concerned about prestige, guess what? You're going to feel a lot of pressure to spend on this game, a tremendous amount of pressure. And that's why I say, don't chase prestige. It's one of the most stressful, worst things you can do in this game. I did it for a while, many, many years ago, like 7 years ago. Don't do it. It is not fun. And it doesn't, whatever, I'm not going to go off on that. But play the game with people who are playing it the way you want to play. If you're really involved and you like all the nuance of the different characters and like me, and I'm talking about the meta and the shift and this new defender came out and now this champion's more important, then play with people like that. Find a place like this. Find a good Discord server. And if you don't, then don't. But I cannot mean this more. Do not play with people who are spending a crap ton of money or definitely going outside of their entertainment budget if it's going to make you feel like you shouldn't. And honestly, if you're human, you're going to feel FOMO. Because you're a human. And so don't do it. And by the monthly sales, by selling incredibly powerful champions, I'm going to get my ass kicked by Human Torch. You're going to get your ass kicked by Human Torch. I have to have, I didn't claim Dark Phoenix for the same reason, my own protest to Kabam. I don't like this. I'm going to get my ass kicked by her too. And that is frustrating. But if we accept the way we want to be competitive and the level that we want to play at, it doesn't hurt that bad. And then we can also go and have a lot of fun with it. And I can do things to be like, I don't have Dark Phoenix, I don't have Human Torch, but I am doing pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with how I am. And I think the game can be really fun that way. We're not going to change Kabam. We're not. We can give them their advice, we can give our opinion. They're going to keep doing what they need to do to suit what they think they need to suit. Hopefully they listen to us, and they realize that they are coming across as desperate to some of us, and they tone this down a little bit, or they find ways to move some of the high value items to the lower spend. I just. But as usual, viewer, let me know what we think you got right. Let me know what you think you got wrong. Hold on to your units. Stay away from the crystals. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.